Howdy Qers. Today and tomorrow we'll be doing a brisket. So this is a full brisket, 4.6 kilos of black Angus, and this is the fat side down. I'm going to trim the fat off this side and before I flip it over and do it on this side. So as one bit I am a bit excited about is this part here. I'm going to try some burnt ends for the first time instead of cutting that bit off like I normally do. So yeah, the rule of thumb is to about 6 millimeters or 1/4 of an inch of fat cap, and take off any of the silver string fat. As you can see, this flat is quite thin, so I might leave the fat as much as I can on this end so it doesn't dry out too much. I want the fat, it will help protect the meat before while it's cooking, and also it'll give a sort of a fuller flavour as well. Alright, so in terms of any other bits of fat you take off, if you don't like a lot of fat, take more fat off. If you don't care too much about fat, then leave it on. It's really up to you. The only parts to get rid of are the parts that aren't going to render down, and they're the tough bits of fat. Like this part I can feel right here is tough. So it doesn't feel like meat, it doesn't feel like fat like this stuff here. It feels tough. Yeah. Alright, well I'll trim all this up and then I'll bring you back when it's fully when it's ready to season. Okay, so I've got the brisket trimmed now. I'll season the bottom side first before doing the fat side, and seasoning is just some leftover stuff from Christmas, which is just going to be salt, pepper, a little bit of tiny bit of sugar, onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, and cumin. I think that's it. Alright, okay, well yeah, I'll get you back when I'm throwing it on the hot plate. Okay, so I'm just prepping the smoker box for an overnight cook because I don't want to be here. I don't want to do it all day. I've done this before where I go around the smoke chamber. So yeah, they're just they're Kingsford coals, but that's only what I'm using because that's what I have in stock at home at the moment. And so I'll light up nine coals tonight, put them down there in the corner, and I'll also place some more timber chunks. So I've got apple and hickory, and then that'll smoke during the night. I'll wake up in the morning and I should still have a little bit of coals left that I can add to for the brisket, and we'll see how it looks as well. Hopefully it will be good enough to wrap, and then yeah, it'll just cook for the rest of the morning, ready for lunch. Alright, cheers. Okay, we've just added the cooking coals, and that's taken off. Some of the chips are starting to smoke. Time to get the brisket onto the barbecue. So there's the brisket. We've got the point at the right and the flat towards the stack, and our water bowl. That's to make sure it doesn't dry out too much. Okay, so alright, well we'll turn this off and we'll come and check it in a few hours. Okay, so it's now the morning. You can see that lovely rich mahogany colour. I've got my temperature probe in, and yeah, so we're waiting for the internal temperature to get to about 75 degrees, 70 to 75 degrees Celsius, and then we will wrap it. Alright, so we've got our target temperature for wrapping. What I am going to do is cut off the burnt ends. I'll show you how to do that. And I'll just get a little dish and I'll put some barbecue sauce in there, and we'll put them beside it, and they will also cook while this is wrapping and coming up to the target, the final cooking temp, which is about, I think about 94 degrees Celsius or 205 Fahrenheit. Alright, I'll be back in a second. Okay, there's the burnt ends cut up, and I've put some barbecue sauce on there to make sure that they become just those gorgeous burnt ends that we want. And I'll show you the fin basically that I cut off the brisket. So remember that flap of skin, well, that's what I've cut off. And now I'll just wrap this. I'm going to wrap it in foil today, and make sure it comes up to that final temp. Mind you, it does feel pretty good. I might turn it around too, because this part is starting to get a tiny bit tough. Alright, be back soon. Alright, so here we have our delicious looking burnt ends. Soft, like meat sponges. Took up all that delicious Stubbs barbecue sauce. And here we've got a lovely rubbery full brisket that we're going to now rest. I like to rest them in an esky or a cooler, and then let it rest for about half an hour to an hour, and then we'll slice it up. Okay, there you have it. That is the brisket. I actually let it rest for about 2 hours. It's still very warm, but you can see just how nice it is. Yeah, alright, so I'm going to cut this up and I'm going to bag some of it, but I'll bring you back once we've cut it all. Alright, cuers, there you have it. Whole brisket cut up. When the flat and the point meet, I cut it so you go against the grain for the flat, and then when you start to get more point than flat, turn the brisket to the side and cut it in the middle, and then cut it the opposite direction or perpendicular direction. So it tastes fantastic, and yeah, like gonna do like a fold test. Like, that's just bending, perfect. Pull test. Oh, a tiny little bit of cartilage there. You wouldn't know to eat it though. Alright, well, that's brisket day. Hope you enjoyed it. Happy queuing.